Hey y'all, welcome back. So tonight we're going to make gumbo. We were supposed to have this for dinner last night, but like I told y'all in our last video, life happens. So we're going to make it tonight and let it simmer while we're at soccer practice. So again, all the information will be down below in the description box. This is a very simple, easy gumbo. It does take some time to simmer and get those flavors developed, but it's very easy to throw together and you can really mix it up with however you like. I'm going to show you at the very end something that a lot of the families down here in South Louisiana do that's a little bit strange to me, but it's so good. It's so yummy. So the first thing I've got some oil heating up in the bottom of my pan. And since we're starting with our homemade sausage, I do need to cook it a little bit. If you had the summer sausage, not the summer sausage, the smoked sausage that you can buy in the grocery store, you wouldn't have to do this step right at first. But I want to use up some of this smoked sausage that we made a little while back. So I'm just going to cook it, and then we'll get those nice flavors in the oil before we saute our vegetables. But I'm going to cook the sausage on medium heat just until it's brown. It doesn't have to be fully cooked because it's going to go back in after we get the vegetables cooked. But I want to do this step so I can pull it out before we do the vegetables. I'm also going to show y'all how I cook my rice and my Ninja Foodi. It helps speed things up because it's one of those things you just set it and let it go, and I don't have to worry about overcooking it. I can cook a lot of things, but for some reason, without cooking it in my Ninja Foodi or in my Pampered Chef bowl, I always make it sticky. I just can't bring myself to not stir it. I know some people say that they can cook a lot of food, but for some reason they can't cook eggs. Rice is my can't cook food. Oh, this is starting to smell good already. And really I could do this in a separate pan and toss it in, but I want those flavors in the oil. It's going to help season the broth and the roux that we put in even more. So that was just a pound of sausage that we had sliced up. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to take that out once it has just a light sear on it. And I'm going to toss in my vegetables. So I'm using these bags. You can do a bag of chopped vegetables. It's like a soup or a seasoning blend. And that's what I'm doing to save some time today. But you could do a medium onion, 2 bell pepper, just some parsley. I also threw in 4 garlic cloves. You can do less if you don't like garlic, but garlic is like an extra food group for me, so I love garlic. But just to save some time with chopping those vegetables, you also need about 3 stalks of celery. But these bags of soup mix that you can find in the freezer section for really cheap have all of the onions, the bell pepper, the celery in it. You would need to add, and the parsley. You would need to add some extra garlic, but that's not hard. You can even buy the pre-chopped garlic. Okay. Give that about another minute to get just a little gentle sear. And everybody's gumbo in Louisiana is different. I've also tried gumbo in other places that claim that they make Louisiana gumbo. And I'm telling y'all, if you get the chance to come to Louisiana, have some real Louisiana gumbo, because the stuff that you get everywhere else, that's not gumbo. And it's definitely not Louisiana gumbo. It should be a crime to market as Louisiana gumbo, some of the things that I've eaten. Okay. So again, we're just getting a little sear on this. Nothing, it's not fully cooked. It'll get to that point by the end when we add it back in, but I don't want to overcook it and make it tough. So we still have those juices down in the bottom of our pan, and we're going to toss in our veggies. Now while these veggies start to soften, I'm going to go ahead and start my rice in the Ninja. You can make your rice ahead of time if you like. That way it's already done, but I'm just taking the time right now to get it done while this all softens up. I wish y'all could smell this. It already smells good. It's kind of dark, but it looks pretty. Let's see, I'm going to grab my lid. Now I do have, this is the lid to the Ninja Foodie. This top one is the crisper lid. But I have different rings because these start to absorb flavors. So I have different ones. One if I put something sweet in it. But I'm just going to throw in a different ring since I just cooked something in it not long ago. And you can pull these out and wash them too. They come out really easy and they snap back in. The first time I did it, I was nervous that I was going to tear it up. Definitely not. We're going to see how much rice I have left. We're getting to the end of this bag. For the pressure cooker, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. I still can't get that straight in my mind, so I do add in a little bit of extra water. So we've got about a cup right here on those little pieces. And I'm going to grab another bag because that won't be enough for us. Alright. It was an up-close shot. I had to reach right past y'all, sorry. So we have about 2 cups. And I'm going to throw in just a little over 2 cups of water. I'll stir this around. And we do have a few strays on the pressure cooker lid. We'll toss in. Okay. I'm just going to turn the lid on, set it to sealing. We'll turn it on. Pressure, it's already set to high. And put it down to 6 minutes. And it actually takes longer for it to warm up than it does to cook. So I'm stirring these around. They're starting to get softened. Alright. Let that sit a few more minutes. Okay, veggies are starting to smell nice and fragrant. my shortcut. Some people say it's a sin, but I do it anyway because it makes life so much easier. But Premade Roux, this is my favorite brand. It makes things easy. You can store the excess in the fridge, but it saves you from having to make a roux and from burning it and the extra steps. Like, I don't know, maybe if I was trying to win a contest or impress my grandmother or something, I would make my roux from scratch, but this makes it so that I can make gumbo a lot more readily. So again, it's just a pre-made roux that you can get at the grocery store. I'm going to put in about 4 tablespoons. Now, I'm just eyeballing it. If you want to measure, feel free. It's not an exact science. The science part of it is tasting it. So don't worry if you put a little bit too much. Now with this pre-made roux, you do have to remember to mix all the oils back in. It's just like the peanut butters. You'll have to mix those oils in to get it all mixed around. Like, it'll settle. So you got to mix it back in to keep it well. I'm going to add just a little bit more because that doesn't quite look like enough. Now the thing to remember if you're using a pre-made roux, you want to cook off that flour taste. So we're going to take a pause and let this cook for 30 minutes to get that roux flavor off. We mix it around. We are going to add our water and just cook this flavoring, like that flour flavor out before we add any of our meat. So get it all mixed around. It's going to look like a gross paste almost. That's okay. That's exactly what it would look like if you made your own roux. Just trying to make sure all the veggies get down the side and incorporated. So you're going to need about you're going to need about 4 quarts of water. This is only half of the water we'll be putting in. 4 quarts is 16 cups. So we'll mix that around and we'll add another 8 cups to make our 16. I'm trying to break up all of those clumps and make sure it's all mixed around. That's why I like mixing it with my veggies though. I can ensure that I can break up those clumps. And I like the flavor of the sauteed, softened veggies. I know some people will add theirs in after the broth is made. I just prefer mine softened and to get that flavoring in the oil. Just getting all from the sides. Okay, let's get our other 8 cups of water. So we've got that all mixed together. It's on medium heat. We're going to let it come back. We're going to let it come to a simmer and just simmer for 30 minutes. And then we'll start adding in our meat. Now, sometimes I'll take a whole chicken or chicken pieces and boil it, and that's how I get the cooked chicken. I'll use that water for flavoring and seasoning in my gumbo. Today, I shredded up a rotisserie chicken. That's been my go-to these last couple of months with back to school and working and everything. It just makes life manageable. But I might be missing some of that flavor that I would get from those bones and stuff in the broth. So, what I'll do after we mix in our our meats, I'll taste it and see, one, does it need more broth to it? I'll use chicken broth instead of just plain water, or even some of that chicken base to amp up the flavor. It depends on if I just need the flavoring or if I need some more water to it also. For the South, this is a very small batch of gumbo. Like, I know this looks like a big pot, but this is a very, very small batch of gumbo for the South. We're used to feeding everybody and having tons of food. So if you're making it for way more people, buy a bigger pot, like an actual gumbo pot. It's a big thing. But the way you can get more flavor into your food is to boil that chicken in for it. But we're going to set a timer for 30 minutes, let this cook, and I'll keep stirring it along the way. By then our rice should be done. Yes, because it's at 5:20, so it's already started cooking. And then I'll see y'all back in about a half hour. So our 30 minutes is about up. Perfect timing. This has been boiled nicely, and our rice is also done. So first thing I'm going to show you, I let it slow release for a few minutes, and then I did a manual release for the pressure cooker. I'm just going to open it up and show y'all how it turned out. Be careful to always turn your lid away from you because it will be hot and the water that's on it will be hot. But it turns out perfect every time. I'm going to fluff it and show y'all. Like, it's nice and fluffy. Not sticky like it is when I make it on the stove. So I love this. It works out awesome. Just close that big lid and keep it nice and warm. Now it's already turned off and everything, so there's no worry about that. It's not going to cook any longer. So for our gumbo, like I said, we shredded up a whole rotisserie chicken. You can use several parts if you like. This has just really been my go-to the last few weeks. So we're going to toss in our chicken, white meat, dark meat, and all. And usually in the South we do a chicken and sausage gumbo or a seafood gumbo. This time I have a little bit of shrimp left over from a shrimp boil that we had the other night. So I'm doing the chicken, the sausage, and I'm also going to toss in about a pound of shrimp. Now I still have my surprise ingredient for the very end, but that'll only go in like the last 10 minutes. So we're just getting our shrimp that we cooked earlier. And y'all can see I do a lot of things with my hands. Or not our shrimp that we cooked earlier, our sausage that we cooked earlier, but then our yummy shrimp from our shrimp boil this weekend. Just get that all in. So we have a whole rotisserie chicken, a pound of sausage, and about a pound of shrimp in there. I'm going to stir it around. We're going to turn it to a medium-low heat, and we're just going to let it simmer for about an hour, hour and a half. And then we'll check the flavoring and see how it's doing. This is what I was saying, is it's very easy to make. It takes time to develop those flavors, and that's what makes it so good, is that time where those flavors really meld together. So we'll see y'all back in about an hour, hour and a half. So our gumbo's been simmering for about an hour and a half. About an hour into it, I added my secret ingredient. So y'all saw that we used the pre-made roux earlier. I also add, for each of these recipes, about a half a pack of this gumbo base. It really helps the depth of the flavor and the creaminess. And this is just a powder. It does have some cornstarch in it, so you want to make sure that you mix it with a little bit of cold water before you pour it in. But it helps darken the roux and really give it that depth of flavor. But we simmered it about 30 more minutes, and now it's time to add in our last ingredient that goes in while it's cooking, and that's some boiled eggs. This part you can leave out. Not everybody does it, but it's an extra little treat, and my kids love boiled eggs. So I'm just going to drop a few down in it. We're going to simmer it about 10 more minutes to let those eggs soak up some of the flavor. And then we'll plate it up and let y'all see how a South Louisiana gumbo looks. Now, if we were just making just a plain seafood gumbo, we would have waited to put that seafood in until the end so it doesn't overcook. I just kind of tossed it in because I had some extra, and while I was doing everything else, let it soak up some of those flavors. But the seafood just takes just a few minutes to cook, so you don't want to, if that's your whole source of protein, you don't want it to overcook and everything. So it doesn't have to go in the early stages of while this is simmering. But we're going to let that simmer for about 10 minutes. We'll plate it up and I'll show y'all the final result. So the gumbo's all ready, and you see that we had two very impatient people that can't wait for it to be done. They want to help taste test. Did you want to taste? Do you want to taste the gumbo? Yeah? So we're going to tell you what everyone thinks. You can grab your spoon. Tell me what y'all think.
I want to get some rice.
You want to get some rice? It's hot. You want to bite or no? You don't want any gumbo? I thought you did. You want some? Here.
I like the rice.
You like the rice? What about the gumbo? You want some juice?
I want some juice.
Hot? Blood? It's okay. Woo. All right. Tell me, is it good? Is it good or bad? Is it good or bad? It's bad. Why is it bad? Oh, is it too hot? Does it taste good? It's just hot? Yeah. Here. Move
It's
below on it.
burning hot, but it's good.
It's burning hot, but it's good. Oh, we just need to cool it off.
No, it's a little spicy, but I do like it.
You like it? Is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up? Is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Thumbs down? Okay, I'll eat your bite. Oh, is it a thumbs up now? No? Okay, I eat the rest. Thumbs down? Okay, I eat the rest. It's thumbs up for me. It's thumbs down, but he's chowing in. So, it's good. Something I also, where am I stuff? So the kids don't like it because it looks weird, but my grandmother always, now it's thumbs up, good. My grandmother always used gumbo filet on the top. Now I know some people put it in, but we always sprinkle a little bit. Is it spicy a little bit?
Yes, I need something.
We always sprinkle a little bit on top. I really can't tell you what it does for the flavor. We've always done it. So you do what Grandma teaches you to do. I hope that y'all try and cook this, and let me know if you try anything different. And I know especially North Louisiana is going to have me for putting eggs in it, but we live in South Louisiana and that's how you do it. Bon appetit.
Bye.
All right, here, let's move over. Sissy, get your juice and grab your shoes.
I want my own gumbo.
You want me to make your own?
Yeah.
Okay.